What's up, YouTube, and what's up, Raider Nation? Today we're going to talk about the Colts versus Raiders game that's going to happen this Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific time. So at first, we're going to see how the Raiders could take advantage of this Colts defense. Then we're going to take a look at how the Raiders defense could stop Jonathan Taylor and this elite rushing attack. We're going to give our predictions for the whole entire game and give some close insight into what we think is going to happen and what you should look out for. We hope you enjoy this video. Remember to like this video and also subscribe to this channel to get more Raiders news and more NFL news for the whole entire year. So let's talk about how the Raiders offense could take advantage of this Colts defense. Now, first of all, we have to just say that the Colts defense is just not that good. And I know a lot of people want to hype them up, but I'm sorry. The numbers are clear. 11 in points, 18 in yards for the Colts defense. Not as hot as you would think. And let's get a little bit closer into this and dive a little bit deeper. First off, just looking at the PFF grade lineups for this defensive line on the Colts, you got Kwity Paye, the first round pick. I believe he was selected 21st overall. He's ranked 27th out of all edge rushers. He has a 75 overall PFF grade. Then you got DeForest Buckner, right? The former Niner who's supposed to be super elite. 23rd overall and his 73.2 PFF grade. Let's start off with Kwity Paye. I'm going to first say not that impressive of a guy. Not as crazy as you think, especially for a first round pick. This guy only has 3 sacks on the year so far. Not too hot at all. And he only has 35 pressures on the year so far. And it's not like he's putting up great grades either. I know he has a 75 overall grade, but just 65 grade against the rush and a 72 grade against the pass. Then let's talk about DeForest Buckner. DeForest Buckner, yes, he's going to get all the glory. A lot of people are going to hype him up because of his time with the Niners and how well he did last year with the Colts. But outside of these 8 sacks, I don't think this guy's just like a straight up amazing player. 8 sacks, that's going to make him look good, but he only has 45 total pressures. That's not too crazy, to be honest. Think about Quentin Jefferson for the Raiders. He's played less snaps than DeForest Buckner, and he has 35 total pressures. So you're going to tell me DeForest Buckner pay grade versus Quentin Jefferson, how much you're paying Buckner versus Jefferson, you're only getting 10 more pressures. That's not enough. And by the way, Quentin Jefferson has 5 sacks, so he's only 3 sacks away from reaching DeForest Buckner, and he's played about 160 less snaps. And I also want to say the Colts safeties are just not that impressive. You got Sandeja over there at free safety. He's 43rd overall among qualifying safeties, 62.9 PFF grade. And then you got Willis. 56.8 PFF grade, ranked 73rd overall among qualifying safeties. So looking at this defense, more really talented slot corner, 72 PFF grade. Obviously, Darius Leonard is a great linebacker, really good at forcing fumbles. That's what he's been able to do all year. But outside of that, I'm not too scared of this defense, especially when you're talking about running the ball. I think we're going to be able to run the ball on this team straight up. Kwity Paye and Buckner do not have good running grades, and this defense is 26th in rush yards per attempt. So not as impressive as the media would like you to believe. 26 in rush yards per attempt. That's a perfect recipe for Josh Jacobs and the Raiders after they've come off just one of the best games they've had all year in terms of rush yards. So in order to take advantage of this defense, I think the Raiders should focus on the passing game with the running back, with the tight end, try to test these safeties, see if they can cover Moreau, see if they can cover Jalen Richard, Josh Jacobs, right? And also test these outside corners. I'm not really sold on Rhodes and Rock Ya-Sin. I know Rhodes has had a great career, but we're at the tail end of it. So I think they should take advantage of that. Obviously, run the ball. This team, it does not have great run D. All right, now we're going to get into how the Raiders can stop this Colts rushing attack and it can stop the Colts in general on offense. Let me just first start out and say that this whole T.Y. Hilton thing is completely over. I'll say that about the Colts first off. This guy only has 247 yards on the year plus two TDs, so this really is a Michael Pittman passing offense. That guy has almost 1,000 yards, 971 this year, 5 TDs. And T.Y. Hilton is listed as the number 2 man right here on PFF for the Colts, but not really a serious target. Hasn't played a decent amount of games, doesn't always get that many snaps in general. But he's still the number 2. and Doyle, the tight end, is questionable. However, I will say Doyle is primarily used in the run game as well. Doyle on the year only has 291 yards and 3 touchdowns. As far as the passing game is concerned, it really is all Michael Pittman Jr., Carson Wentz, and Michael Pittman Jr. Carson Wentz, however, is actually having a decent year. Not in terms of yardage. He only has 7 yards per attempt and has about 3,300 passing yards on the year. And against the New England Patriots, when they won, he only made 12 passing attempts. But I don't want to indict him on the whole year because he has several games where he has 30 to 35 passing attempts. But 25 TDs, 6 picks, that's a decent ratio. However, only 20 big time throws. Those are throws that are right on the money and deep. He only has 20 of those on the year. Meanwhile, someone like Derek Carr has 36 actually. Now, I just want to say, how can the Raiders stop this Colts offense? It mainly has to do with the run game, right? We know Jonathan Taylor and Hines are really great for the Colts, and this offensive line is on fire. And even with several people out due to COVID against the Cardinals, the Colts offensive line did really well. And we don't know who's going to be back. It seems like most of their offensive line is going to be back. However, this hasn't been updated on many of the charts you'll see online. Fisher is likely going to play. Nelson is one of their best guards, even though he's 36th in terms of PFF grade among 80 qualifying guards. And we don't really know who's going to be the quarterback. I think Carson Wentz is still going to play. If the NFL changed the rules where it only takes 5 days to come back, I'm pretty sure Carson Wentz is going to probably benefit from that. Who knows, though? It depends. They say he took the test on the 28th, so he's going to have to wait 5 days regardless. I don't know if he can just take the test Saturday night, come up negative, and play Sunday morning. We're not sure. A lot is going to rely on Saturday, I believe so. So we'll be monitoring that closely. I just want to talk about first what the Raiders defense needs to do, though. I think Unique Ngakoue really needs to step it up overall. He has a really bad PFF grade overall, just 50.2, and it's because he's done poorly against the run. I mean, look at his run grade in some of these games. Against Cleveland, 28.8 run grade, and he's getting snaps, 40 snaps, 31 snaps against Denver, 57.7 run grade. And between these past 2 games, Cleveland and Denver, Unique Ngakoue only has 2 pressures. So he's only had a pressure a game, 1 in Cleveland, 1 in Denver for these past 2 weeks. In Kansas City, 3 pressures. The last time he had over 4 pressures was against the Giants in Week 9. And we know the production of Max Crosby is pretty intense. Obviously, he's getting those high amounts of pressures every single game. For instance, Max Crosby just in Denver this past game, he had 5 pressures, then he had 4 against Cleveland. So Unique Ngakoue, we need to step it up, especially in the run game. We're going to need him to be 100%, and our corners need to step it up. If Casey Hayward is not able to test out and come back, because he did test positive on Monday for COVID-19, we're only going to have Faison and Trufant as our corners. These people were not expected to be our starting outside corners at the beginning of the year. Trufant did really well this past game. Faison has struggled at times, but I actually think Faison has done a really good job for coming in mid-year. I mean, that's a difficult task to ask for anybody. And another thing the Raiders need to worry about is these linebackers. Divine Diablo, is he going to be able to step up to the plate? Denzel Perryman, can he test and come back and play? At this point, it seems like Markel Lee and Diablo will likely be the linebackers. Will Compton tested positive. He might not play. And so March Lillard, the Raiders are reaching deep on their practice squad here for linebackers. We also hope maybe KJ Wright could test and come back, or Corey Littleton. If they test negative, they could come back and play. They are vaccinated. So let's hope they can play so we can have a shot at stopping Jonathan Taylor. He is the 5th ranked running back in the NFL, 85.7 PFF grade. He needs no introduction so far. He's an MVP candidate, and it's because this offensive line is really great too. So honestly, the Raiders are in a lot worse shape on defense than I thought initially going into this game, mainly because we just have question marks at linebacker. However, the Colts, I mean, they don't have their quarterback as it stands today, so I would say they're in a pretty bad position as well. I think Teamer at strong safety isn't going to be a huge drop-off for the Raiders. I think he did really well last game, even though Jonathan Abram was the starter for the majority of the year. I think this game hinges on, can the defense step up against the run, very clearly. Can we get enough people back from COVID to help us at linebacker? Can someone like Markel Lee step up? Divine Diablo step up? Can Unique Ngakoue get back on track? Carl Nassib also tested positive for COVID. We don't know if he's going to play either. Waller, Nassib, Casey Hayward, Perryman. These are huge names that can have huge consequences. KJ Wright for the Raiders, and whether or not they win this game, let's hope all these guys can test negative and come back since they are vaccinated. So as it stands today, the spread is -7 for the Colts, so they are the clear favorites to win this game. A lot of this game does hinge on COVID. I'm excited to see what happens, and I'm glad it's going to be Sunday, early. Huge playoff game, huge consequences. Right in the morning, we figure out what the hell is going to happen with the Raiders. Let's hope we go 2-0 these next 2 weeks, and we make it to the playoffs for the first time in over half a decade. My name is Wi-Fi Willie. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like it if you watched it all the way through. Subscribe to this channel to get more Raiders news and updates and more NFL stories for eternity. We're going to keep posting to this channel every single week. I hope you have a good New Year's. I know I will. Peace out.